Hello boys and girls, today we'll be playing EU4. This is going to be a small little tutorial on how to play this game. Excuse me if I sound a little sick, it's cause I am, and I'm drinking a little bit of nice hot ginger tea. Delicious. Anyways, this is going to be a little bit of a simple guide, but it'll include complex topics. We'll be going over the basics, and this will teach you enough to be able to join us in multiplayer matches, but you won't be amazing, you know? This game is a lot about playing and learning and having experiences, you know? Experiences make you in this game, you know? You test out a lot of stuff. It's very learning game. You can't really just snap your fingers and learn this game. It's not a shooter. It requires your mind, and you have to have an IQ over, well, 70. That's a little low, maybe over 100. But hey, still it requires a lot. Today we'll be playing Brandenburg. It's a very nice nation, a very good nation I can use. One of the easier nations. We have other very nice nations like the Ottomans, the Castilians. Poland's a very nice nation. France can be a good. It's a good nation to learn when you've learned the basics, which is hopefully what we'll be doing in this game. There's other nations. We have the example all of India, all of the Middle East, the China, basically, the Great Ming. But those are nations that are a little bit harder. There's more in depth with them, and so it's going to require a little bit more for you. I'll be doing Europe since that's a little bit easier. A lot of stuff will be there. At the top, you have a bunch of terrains and map modes. I like the terrain one. Excuse me. Political, trade, religious, imperial, diplomatic, development, and regions. In all honesty, the only ones that really matter are the political, trade, diplomacy, and the development. These other ones, they're very nice. They help you. I would heavily keep using them and look at them every now and then, but they're not the ones am consistently looking at them, because the ones that you're consistently looking at are the ones that you most likely recognize well. The religious ones don't usually change. So you have the Muslims, the different types of Muslims, Orthodox, Catholics, and then later on, during the religious wars and 30 Years' Wars, you'll have this, kind of a blue little color right here. That's a little bit later on. Anyways, let's play Brandenburg. So you guys can read this all through. This is something nice you should really look at, but I've played this game enough, and I know the basics of what they're telling me. These are all the DLCs, blah blah blah. Anyways, so you start off an army right here, the nice little green. The little crown right here represents your capital. You can click on it, and you'll get a big nice pop-up. We'll discuss this in a moment. But basically, it's a little bit more in depth. In all honesty, some of you might have this tucked in. You want to click on the little outliner. I like this. This is very nice. This is very helpful for you. And then these little things. So first, let's go over all the stuff at the top. So you have your money, obviously. You want a green little thing right here. That's always good. You like green. Green means good. You have your manpower. Your manpower is a little bit of a cheeky thing. Sometimes your manpower can well, you use your manpower to build armies and to reinforce armies. Reinforcing armies after you've fought a battle, of course. Alright, here you have sailors. Navy is a little bit more of a complex topic, and we'll deal with that later on. I don't think this is something a noob should go into. It's a little challenging to learn. Part of that, we have stability, which is actually very important. We have this should never be below 0. This is very important to affect the unrest in your area. A lot of things, if you hover over them, it'll tell you what it does. Corruption, well, we all know about corruption. We should never have corruption. Prestige is a little fickle of a thing. It likes to go up and down. Positive is always very nice. Negative will give you some, as you can see, the effects from positive prestige. You can expect the same if you have negative prestige. It's not really good. Legitimacy, that's, that becomes a problem when you don't have a strong ruler. And what I mean by strong is something we'll look at in a moment. And we have power projections. That's something you just get over time. Don't really worry about that one too much. These four little things right here can also be viewed right here, and as you can only see, you only have two of them right here. The two diplomats, and you have the one missionary, my bad, which can be seen right here. We'll discuss in a moment. Right below that, these are very important. These are monarch points, people like to call them, administrative, diplomatic, and military. All these points are used for various things. Um, some of those things being technology, improving your place, improving your province, I mean. Yeah, basically those. Uh, for noobs, one of the biggest things is to always be looking right here. These little few things. Red is, very important. This is something you should always be clicking on. If there's a red, then you need to fucking fix that. That's not a good thing. Green, you should be looking at that. Yellow is a warning sign, but yeah, always be looking at this. If you don't know them, hover over them. It'll tell you something. The disputed stuff at the beginning of the game, that's if you just want to marry someone. That's what it's whatever. Your truces, and then your advisors and your rivals. Right? So that's the majority right there already. On the right, we have your diplomats. Like I said, I was going to come back to this. This is kind of what you should be looking at a lot. Your diplomats, you can send them to different countries. For example, if you want to send them over to Bohemia, for example, we can open up all this stuff. We have whole different options we can do. We can marry them. We can send them money. We can improve relationships with them. So they view me as a rival, so they won't do anything. But if we look at Poland, for example, so we can offer them an alliance. We can marry them. We can do the same thing with Austria. Very nice. Speaking of which, if you send something to improve relationships between you and the target, you need to call this back. This is one of the weird ones where they'll just start staying there until they reach the maximum of 100 improved relationships with that person. So you need to kind of deal with that. Let's see. Speaking of which, we clicked on this, right? The little flag. We have the first one is your court. This is your king, this is your heir, and this is your queen. The queen does not really matter. I think it just improves RNG. The king is where it really matters right now, as it all these points right here are given extra to the current diplomatic and military and administrative power that you get. So it'll tell you how much you're making monthly, and that's the total. You could hire advisors, this is very highly recommended. You hire these advisors so you get extra points. These points are very important. You should never be behind on tech. That is very bad. Better rulers, for example, this is a very good king, 332. His hair is not so good. It's a 221. He does have a strong claim, so he'll be fine. No problems with that. You can disinherit him, but you'll take a big prestige hit. Not necessarily smart. We can click on the government. We can look. This is really strengthening government. We can just improve the legitimacy if our legitimacy is low. We can look at the modifiers. Stuff that you should maybe look at later on. Kind of nice. And your accepted and not accepted cultures. You should have. You should probably just accept these. The higher percentage ones are better. But I mean, if it's not accepted, then this is a more of a complicated topic because you'll get into other things. You don't need to accept them, and a lot of times you won't be able to accept them. So, as you can see, it needs to have at least 20 development, and it does not have that much development. Our nation is a little too small for that. Your diplomacy is, as you can see, if you click around other nations, you can click yourself, you can see all this stuff. Kind of not important. I mean, it is important. You should always be making allies. Go for the stronger, better allies. That's always very nice. Your economy. Now, half this game is fucking economy. I shit you not. You have taxation, which is standard. A lot of the taxation, the money comes from your provinces, right? You can improve your taxes by improving this little thing, spending your administrative points to get more monthly tax out of you. It's recommended, but that's more of an advanced thing, it's something I usually do later on in game. But right now, like for example, in this time, I would not be. I would be going for the tech. Tech is everything in the beginning. You can also see how much money you're making right now. So early on, you're only going to be making money off taxes. Production is going to be kind of low. Your trade is going to be kind of low, unless you're a large nation. It's going to be low. Uh, the gold is going to be given if you have a gold province. So right here, if you have what I added a few little things at the bottom, trade goods, and so you can see my little gold provinces. For example, Bohemia has one of them. It's Cheb. Probably that's not how you say it too. I butchered it. Heb probably. Anyways, yes. When you control this province, you can improve it. These provinces are a little bit special because they give you gold directly. They don't go into your production. They don't go into anything else. They go into your pocket instantly. And you can improve the amount of money that you make out of this, but there's also a chance of exploiting it. Uh, the other provinces, other things like this, are not really. None, it doesn't happen to them either. It just happens to gold. Gold's a special one. Uh, you can improve your manpower and stuff, but that's later on topic. Don't really worry about that too much. Going back, trade is a little bit more of a special thing. Here, if you have a trade node right here, so trades. There are many videos. They're much better than mine. I can tell you that. Uh, it's a little bit of a complicated topic, but basically, if you Europe is more of an end trade node. Trade node comes to us. Uh, there's three big major trade nodes. They're called end nodes. This is where all trade ends up, and that's the English Channel, Genoa, and Venice. Those are the ones that you should really control, and you should steer all trade to them. But steering is a little more complicated. Basically, in all honesty, all trade comes from China. Basically, all this, halfway across the world, all this stuff comes from China. It all starts right here, and money is sent down in little lines like this. Like you can see the little arrows right there. Money is sent down, and there are various trade nodes, and people it often is pushed up to Europe. That's where the all the money ends up being. Basically, all the money is sent up here, and you can improve your chances of making money by transferring trade power up to the one province that you control, and you have your little thing. For example, Brandenburg's is, I believe, Saxony. So there's a merchant collecting money here, and in the Vienna trade node, which you want to do where you have power, uh, I'm transferring money up here. But you just have one place where you're transferring money, and everything else is going to this one position where you collect money. Let's see. Uh, Speaking of which, maybe I mean like unless you're about to go to war, bring this all down. Okay, if if you want to go to war, I don't know how many times I've seen people do this. It's so frustrating. They'll have their army maintenance like this. Okay, they'll go to war, and yeah, let's run the timer a little bit here. Get the little things. Yeah, nothing else here. But you just want to. This will go up as time goes on, but I want to show you this. So as you can see, it's the November 11th. Yeah, you'll get events by the way. I don't really care. Uh, your morale is half. When your army maintenance is down, it's half. And so when you bring it up, when you go to war, it's automatically done. It brings it up, right? Give me one moment because it's still November, so I need to bring it down because it changes every month. But basically, yeah, I'll speed it up a little bit. So our morale has gone down, and these are all people trying to offer alliances. Just consistently keep looking up here. It's January, for example. Okay, Bohemia wants to go to war with us, right? So automatically, this will do this for you. But if you want to go to war, you need to make this yourself. You need to bring this up, and your morale will be cut to the bottom. You need to wait about 3 or 4 months for your morale to go up, and you need to survive those 3 or 4 months without dying because your army is extremely weak now. Now it's very very weak. You can't do anything with it. You know what? I'll do this little thing. For example, if I improve relationships with this, and I royal marry with the Bohemians, right, or the Austrians. Blah blah blah. This is all history stuff. But as you can see, my diplomat has returned. One of them, the one in Bohemia, is improving relationships, and so he will stay there. And you can see right here, you can click on him. Where is he? You can call him back, for example, like that. But yeah, that's all. We got off the topic real fast. But yes, before you go to war, make sure that your army maintenance is top. Let's pause the game again. So then we have trade. This is more of a pie chart, and you can see the bonuses that are affecting how much money you're making. Kind of, hurts when you see that they're barely making any money for you. You often have nations like Venice, where it'll be over half, usually 70% of their income is coming from trade, because they're all pushing everything up to the Venice trade now. And that's kind of typical, but it's very frustrating. Something I want to point out is for when you play as one of these nations, you should always go to where trade is coming into, or trade node. You always want to go for these, like for your conquest. You want to take out smaller nation. For example, Magenburg would be very nice. Speaking of which, that'll lead us to the next thing, diplomacy and war. So we want to get a little bit stronger before we go over and we start, pushing up here. A nation that is small and weak. Let's see, Anhalt, for example. Okay, Anhalt. So we can click on this little thing, and we can see already right here. We can see all the fucking problems that it's gonna fucking cause. Now, if you're a monkey and you can't fucking read this shit, and I don't know what to tell you, bro, because you got to read a lot in this game. It's already gonna give you -2 stability, +2 exhaustion, and it tells you all the wars that people are gonna join against you. Checkmark is not really good. Don't checkmark these, by the way. It's not smart for you. So this would look like a very smart idea for us, and we don't really have a cow's belly for us, so that's gonna hurt us. So we need to find someone else to go to war. Mecklenburg. Okay, Mecklenburg. They're a little bit of an easy target. We can go for them. In order to go to war with us, so we have a legitimate claim, we should always look at who they're war, but never confirm. Never confirm until you're ready. Obviously the Emperor will join, and because they don't really like us right now, and yeah, they're part of the Empire, and so we're not really supporting them either. So that kind of things. That's a whole different thing. The Brandenburg, you can see all the nations that are who's supporting who, and the Emperor doesn't really like when you don't support him. Anyways, so let's build spy network. This will take some time. We'll move our army over. And as you can see, a little thing has popped up, and we don't have a leader right here. Oh no, we don't have a leader. We need to get a leader. So we'll get a leader through the means of making our rulers leaders, maybe. Well, by making your ruler or a future heir a leader, you have a chance of killing them. That's not really smart. So you could maybe recruit a general. Oh, this general's pretty good. 1 star. He gives a lot of good bonuses. Really, what you should be looking at is the fire, shock, and maneuver. The first two are you should always be looking at. You want this highest. If they're also 2 star, that's always very, very nice because they'll give them better tactics and shit. As we'll let the game run, basically, we need to get this up a little bit higher, and so we can get a fabricate claim on them. As that goes on, we'll have the technology tab right here. This is very important. Better tech is always needed. You have something called institutions right here, and the Renaissance is one of the earliest institutions. As you can see, it happens around 1450 in some state of Italy. There's many prerequisites, but you also want to be getting these institutions. Don't make your technology cost less. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. They'll make these cost less, which is always nice. Italy always gets them in the beginning. You can really see who gets them in the beginning, but the colonialism is always given to usually Spain, Portugal, or England. Someone that colonizes, basically. And the printing press almost always spawns in Germany. Yeah, we'll buy that, of course. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, we take loans out. You can take loans. Don't be afraid to take loans, but mind you, loans can lead to bankruptcy if you take too many of them and you're not making money. It's always a problem. You can also you can debase your corruption, which will, it's not something I really suggest because corruption is kind of a long-term thing that is always biting your ass at the end. It takes so much money from you. 'Cause it's very rough. Then you have the ideas. This is actually very, very important. The ideas right here. So you have Prussian ideas. These are ideas that are given to you, and these are ideas that you can choose. So you have basically 6 different ideas per group. Ends up having like you have 18. Basically, this is really dependent on how you're playing and what you plan on doing. This is something I can't really tell you what to do. Uh, if you're a colonization nation, which I should very well, I recommend that a lot of new players don't play colonization nations. It just doesn't work out. You should probably go into something like economics or trade. Those are very nice. Those are very, very nice start ones. Maybe quantity, that'll give you extra manpower if you need the manpower. It'll tell you all, you can watch more videos on this one. Uh, these are just, there's so much that goes into these ideas. There's so many different metas and shit like that. You can figure out, you gotta balance these all. You can also, later on as you get more and more ideas, you can merge them with others. You can institute policies and shit. But that's more of a late game stuff. The idea is that so as you unlock these ideas, right, you could spend your points into getting more of the bonuses right here because you don't get all these bonuses all at once. You gotta spend your points into them, and these points has depending on how far you get into them, they will increase how far you get on this little green bar. This little green bar has little bonuses for you. These are your Prussian ideas that you get for free. Well, they come at a cost. Um, Prussia has one of the best ones. They have very, very strong military ones. As you can see, they have very nice tax. They have very, very nice, strong morale of armies. That's beautiful. 20% extra morale. It's amazing. Yearly army tradition decay, -1. That's great too. Infantry combat. The Prussian, I chose Prussia because Brandenburg, at least in this case, because of their very, very high quality ideas. These are some of the best ones you can get. In the game, there's something called Prussian Space Marines. They happen later on in the game. They're great. They're overpowered. Prussia is the military state of Europe. You also have these little things. These are traditions. The traditions ones are the ones that you get overall. They're always given to you, no matter what. And when you've completed all this, you'll get an extra 5% discipline. It's pretty good for you. Kind of gives an extra motivator for you to get them. Your missions, these are the ones that you probably should be looking at on what you should get. So they'll teach you, they'll give you the basics of what you should be going for. You get bonuses, you get very nice bonuses. For example, the province that we just got Newmark because of an event, we get to reclaim Newmark. That's all it asks is that you own Newmark, right? You get nice claims on the entire area. It's very nice. So if you look at it now, no, that's gonna be bigger. Let me see. I have no idea where these areas are. That's probably around. Honestly, it's probably over here. Nope. Whatever. Uh, Going back, you should be following along these missions. These missions are very nice. They'll give you very nice bonuses. Your decisions, these are not really useful. I mean, like, they are useful. They'll give you nice little bonuses, but those bonuses depend. Uh, as you can see, you can form nations of Prussia and Germany, kind of late game stuff. But, you should be going for that. The policies is also another late game thing when you've completed your ideas out. Your stability, okay. So this is sort of an important tab. If you have your war exhaustion when you go to war, you'll slowly be taking for war exhaustion. How tired your nation is of war. You'll have stability. This is very nice. You get nice bonuses from having positive stability, as we can see. You get very nice bonuses right there. Then you have overextension. So when you take provinces from other nations, you have to manage this. You need to decrease the overextension by coring them by using admin points. And then you have these on the bottom right here. You have the rebels. The rebels like to spawn. Brandenburg is a little bit smaller nation. It's more unified, so rebels will most likely not occur in your nation. But they do happen, so be careful. I hate rebels. Religion is more of a late game thing. In the 1500s. No, it's not necessarily like because it's 1500s. So like what, about 100 years, you're gonna be having an event called the religious wars. Austria is most likely going to be Catholic, while some of these smaller little nations will turn Protestant and they'll try to oppose the emperor. When you conquer, right now, so you can't see any of this stuff. Right now, you should have sometimes little things right here that'll tell you whether or not you can convert the province, because it's all Catholic right now, so you can't really do anything. But if you're Poland, for example, you have provinces that are Orthodox. You really want to convert those into being Catholic so you can get all the bonuses. Because Poland will get some autonomy problems because they're Orthodox. They're not of the same religion. It's kind of problematic, you know. We want them to be of the same religion. Not fun. So you could also switch, convert to different nations, but convert to different religions. But that's more, like I said, 1500s roll around. What do you want to do there? You know. You could also become the defender of the faith, but that's it's expensive, and you should only let your best person should do this, right? You have your military tab. Whenever you upgrade in tech, uh, you sometimes will get little bonuses on different types of new units being formed. You can see different units you want to keep always be going up. Same for knights. With army compositions, for example, I'll give you a little example here. Right here. So here you have your army tradition, you have your morale, and you have your land force limit. Kind of all useless for you since you don't understand. But at the bottom right here, you have your combat width, and this is the width of your infantry and your cavalry. And so what I would suggest is that you have, for example, in this case, you would have, let's say 14, no, not 14, 16 infantry and 4 cavalry, kind of little. It's a large army, and that should be a very nice balance for you. You want to have cavalry in your army. Cavalry is kind of essential because they do flanking and become a little bit more stronger late game. If you're playing a nation like Poland, cavalry is almost a must. They become so powerful. It's not even funny. Uh, how to win battles is based off of two little things: the morale and discipline. Right here, these little two things. Your discipline will most likely be 100% for a while until late game where it'll start going up. Only a few nations get extra bonuses in their ideas and such. So discipline's kind of a good thing, but it's a late game thing. Morale is where most nations get their stuff. Right now, ours is a little bit low. Let's make sure our maintenance is up. Yeah, it's up. It's excellent. So we'll be going to war in a moment. Here you can see all the different interactions with them. Just make sure that you keep the loyalty at 50, and you keep their influence a little bit lower. Their influence is going to be a little bit problematic when you start taking away their lands. You kind of want to limit their power. If they become too strong, they'll start demanding shit, and that's not good. We don't like that. But you have to it's finding a balance, you know? You got to find a little bit of a balance there, you know? Here you have government reforms. This is also found in the government tab. This is something that's done. It's a side thing. You don't really need to worry about this one for now. I don't. You get some nice bonuses out of this, but hey, that's up to the player on what he wants to do with that. To the left of that, we have the production interface. This is more of the important stuff right here. This is another way of building your army. This is how most people do it. They'll tab it out. They'll go through this. They'll actually just click on them. And as you can see, it costs money. Infantry. Well, overall, an army is expensive. what do you expect? An army is going to be expensive. This is why you need to be prepared for if you want to go to war, you need to be prepared for it because goddamn reinforcing that shit is expensive. If mercenaries, don't buy mercenaries unless you have the money for it. Overall, don't because they're fucking expensive, dude. They're 2 times as expensive. To buy them, to buy one of them is what it's 2.6 times more expensive. I mean, it's crazy, dude. And they cost double, so it's not fun. How you here? You can see when you start taking lands, you can core people, you can send mercenaries, you can lower autonomy, you can change your culture. This is a big one right here, the building tab, the buildings tab right here, my bad. This is where you can build a lot of your stuff. So in the beginning of the game, you want to be, well, it's a little hard to explain, but basically, you need to do anything and everything in your possible ability to make money. Uh, Building marketplaces is good. You know, you want to have these, you want to increase your trade power in an area. Manufactories are a late game thing. These make so much money, but they're such a late game thing. The majority of people will just build workshops and churches, and they'll make you money. They'll be a nice little additional money, but it's not crazy as you can see. You know, it's very sad. Something you want to be. Mind you, there is a limit on how much you can build in per province. It's based on development, so that's kind of a little bit of a oof there. Anyways, I think we've run through the majority of the game right there. Yeah, we'll show you guys how to do the. Well, I'll show you how to do the war. In a moment, we need a little bit more, so we're gonna be waiting. Oh, there you go. We just got a war goal on Pomerania. Okay, excellent. So we'll move our army over right here. We'll slow the game down. The majority of games will be 3 or 2 speed. Not usually 4. 4 is a little bit too fast. The majority of people. So we can already see who they're allied with, and I guess we'll go to declare war. Yeah, you need to make sure that you click on one of these so uh, you have a reason for your war. Otherwise, we get a bunch of problems with it. So we're gonna go to battle. As you can see, we do get some penalties on it. Hold up, almost hold on. So battle's a little bit harder right here. Their morale, I believe, already started with lower because they weren't expecting a war. But we do have some problems here. We're losing one right here to the terrain. Terrain is such a huge thing. You're always on the bad side if you're an attacker. You need to have good generals and good dice rolls in order to win this one. Here you have your morale. This is basically on how long you're able to stay in a battle, and your discipline is how much you're able to inflict on another person. It's usually going to be the same. So the majority of the big games on the beginning are based off morale. Who has the most amount of morale? Your tactics don't really worry about that. As you can see, our army is already a little bit better because we have superior numbers, and you can see, what these units are, what units are attacking. As you can see, the cavalry's on the sides right here. The Latin Knights, they're attacking the sides, which is very nice. It's very strong. I will slow down and we'll watch this. Watch the battle. As you can see, kind of harsh losses. They're losing almost double or triple sometimes to us. You need to siege down the provinces. When you've sieged down all the provinces or the province that you want to take, the green right here is always the best. You always want to have more green right here. It's always good. When you're ready, you can peace out. You can do this by we'll pause the game. You click on this little button, and you want to always take the province that you went for, so you get some. It costs less for you. And if you want, you can always take more. But mind you, if you take too much, hold on, watch this. Yes, you get a little thing right here. It's called a coalition. This is very bad for you. You might get screwed over by this. It's a bunch of nations that are threatening to join a war against you. That's not fun. That is not fun. You don't want everyone to have coalitions, but hey, they do happen. So not much you can do about that. I mean, we can't take anything right now because our war score is so low. but after you take the capital, usually you could take the majority of his lands. Anyways, that's the tutorial for this game. It's a pretty fun tutorial. It was pretty fun recording this. I hope this is good enough for the noobs to learn off, and I hope it's a little specific. We're always willing to help in our server, right? Don't get us wrong. But we're all playing the game. You can't come to us during the multiplayer match and expect us to help you then and teach you how to play the game then, because we got our own fucking nations to run. We can't be running your nation and ours. Like it's not fun for us or you. Okay, that was fun.